Hey guys, Jackie, welcome back to my channel. And Pantone just released the color of 2022, and it is this beautiful periwinkle color called Very Peri, which today's look is inspired by. So let's get on with the tutorial. Starting off with the eyes, I'm going to prime my lids with this Maybelline Instant Age Rewind. I have it in the color Sand. Then I'm going in with a dampened mini sponge to tap it in. So the palette of the day is this Bite Size one by e.l.f. It is in the shade Acai You, and I'm going in with this really pale blue color as our base. I'm just putting the color all over the lid and winging it out just very slightly in the outer corner. And because I'm quite tan, I do have to go back and forth into the palette just to kind of build up that intense blue that I see in the pan. Even though pale colors are a struggle for me, I still want to try this really cute periwinkle look. So now that the base eyeshadow is done, I'm going in with some tape to really map out our eyeliner. I'm going to follow the natural curvature of my under waterline here. Okay, so for our eyeliner, I'm going to dip into the same palette, but going into the darkest shade here. Taking a dense tapered brush I'm going to dip into that shade. The trick is to not drag the eyeshadow towards the tape, is to drag it from the tape. So we're gonna lay the shadow pretty much on the tape. You could lay it onto the tape and just kind of stipple it towards your eyelid. So I'm slightly dragging the shadow inwards. So what I'm doing with the shadow is I'm trying to wing out the bottom here, the outer part, and then I'm going to bring the color slightly into the upper lid space, giving it like a really cute, like kind of graphic eyeliner effect. I don't know if any of those words are making sense, but I am horrible at describing things. So hopefully you guys can get the idea from my demonstration. Because I feel like the look is not like oomphy enough for me. So I want to try something different, and I'm going to do like a graphic liner kind of situation. And of course, we're gonna have cleanup service, so don't worry too much about it getting messy. Going in with the mini sponge that we use for our concealer, and I'm going to kind of clean up. And then to really bedazzle the eyes, I'm going in with this holographic highlighter. This one is the Super Shock Cheek from ColourPop in the shade Honeymoon. I'm pretty sure this was one of their limited edition ones from a few years ago, but I just love this color. I'm going to take it onto my finger. It still feels super buttery. And just look at that color. We're just gonna pat it onto the inner lid space. And then a cleanup service. And then for the final reveal. Okay, so I'm gonna finish off with lashes off camera, and then we'll be back for our face. The eyelashes are on, and I kind of filled in my brow just very slightly off camera as well. And now we're finally going to move into our face. I'm looking super pale. It's so abnormal to me. So let's kind of bronze it up a bit. Starting off, I'm going in with the Morphe 2 Skin Tint. I have this in the shade Hint of Honey. And I go really light-handed with this. I don't like wearing too heavy foundation. So I usually go in with one pump. So I usually kind of just dot a few onto my face. It's almost not fully one pump. And then I go in with a dampened brush and I just kind of stipple it in. I'm gonna go really carefully around our eye that we just did. And then I'm going to wet my face with some more badescu. Further blend out this side. I feel like it kind of dried down before I even had a chance to work on this side. And the final step in this foundation process is to go in with a dampened sponge. This step makes it look super skin-like, and I love that. And as you can tell, the skin tint is not exactly full coverage because you can see some of my discoloration and scars peeking through, which is completely fine to me. I prefer a more natural skin-like finish anyways. It's almost as if like a my skin but better kind of look, and I'm all for that. Especially with makeup nowadays, I feel like the trend is moving more towards natural beauty, so this is a really nice technique for that. Okay, so next up is bronzer. I'm going in with my e.l.f. Putty bronzer. This one is in the shade Tan Lines. I'm going in with a kabuki brush because I really like how it diffuses the product onto my face. This color does have a slightly more cool tone to it, so I like it to add a little more definition. We're just gonna focus a little bit more product in like the cheekbone right here, because I feel like it does add a lot more definition. Now we're going to conceal the bags and some areas that we don't like. I know I kind of bronzed my face and then worked backwards, but I feel like the concealer kind of cleans everything up. So sometimes I would prefer to use concealer after. So I'm just going in with the Maybelline Instant Asian Line. Okay, I'm going to go in with the mini sponge because I really want to control where the concealer goes. And we're going to keep it in a triangle right into our temples. See how we're just left with the bronzer on the cheeks? I kind of like that look of it, but I'm just going to blend it in a little more with the sponge, the face sponge, just to give it a little more natural finish. Kind of pushes it into our face further to mesh it all together. Last but not least, I'm going in with blush. I am in love with this combination right now. I'm going in with the Tarte Amazonian Clay 12-Hour Blush. This one is in the shade Party. It's this really pretty muted pink. Like, it's not mauve at all. It's like a baby pink, which I usually don't gravitate towards. You guys know me. I'm more like a warm tone type of gal. But I found that this in combination with another blush is like chef's kiss. I'm going in with my really fluffy brush. And then I'm just gonna go in on the highest point. And I really like to blush the middle of my nose. So I just flatten my brush and I just kind of go over the nose bridge area, connecting the two cheeks. The last blush that we're using is this one from ColourPop. You guys have seen this on my channel 100 times already, and I just am in love with this one. It looks like a bronzer in the viewfinder, but I promise you it's kind of like a deeper version of that first blush that we used. And then to kind of clean it all up, I'm going in with the sponge again and just kind of tap. Then I'm going to bake just very slightly. I kind of want to clean up the cheekbone area. I'm going in with my handy dandy Makeup Revolution translucent powder. And I love using powder with a microfiber sponge. You guys already know the whole deal. Okay, and then I usually like to wipe off the ends over here, kind of like fade it out a bit because I don't want too harsh of line. We're not gonna bake for too long because this powder is super like brightening, so I'm going to wipe it off really quickly. See how harsh of a line that gives you? Like, I don't recommend putting this one on for too long, especially if you're like tanner. It does the job in like record time, but it's just sometimes if you forget it and you leave it on for slightly too long, this is a little hard to fix. Okay, and then for highlighter, I kind of want to tie the whole look together, so I'm going in with the same Super Shock cheek. Take it onto finger. It feels so buttery. Like, I love the Super Shock cheek formula. I love how you can only see it in like certain lights. Super pretty. Last but not least, I'm going in with our lips. This one is the Ultra Matte Lip by ColourPop. I have it in the shade What You Doing. And I know like matte lips are not in, but I love this formula. It's like super powdery and you don't really feel it on, and it's transfer proof, which is like all the pros in one product. Okay, so here is the final reveal. I am super in love with this eye look for some reason. I feel like it's kind of a little different than all the other very peri looks I've seen. All the other ones are kind of like fairy-like and really light, but they're usually done on someone who is like slightly paler than I am. So I feel like this is kind of more up my alley. Really like how the darker eyeliner defines the wing, and it kind of just draws more attention to the periwinkle color that we have on. And although this is supposed to be inspired by Pantone's color of the year, I feel like this is more of like a Maddie moment from Euphoria, But if you guys know what I'm talking about, leave a comment down below. Do you think this is kind of like a Maddie look? I don't know, maybe I had that idea in my head while I was doing this makeup, but I am super in love with it. No complaints whatsoever. And let me know down below what other makeup looks you guys want me to try out. I'm slowly venturing out of my comfort zone, my warm tone palette comfort zone. And with that being said, I'm going to close out today's video with a huge warm thank you for all of you guys who have been supporting me, and I'll see you guys in the next one.